Hi, y'all. This is Tish. We are here with Stephanie Cardell, and we are having technical issues. Um, we was gonna do a slide presentation, but obvious I'm having issues with Ecamm on this. We was able to do it yesterday. Me and Tim we practiced, but we're not gonna let that stop us with today. We're gonna send you out a slide presentation later on as a part of the. It'll be in the description so you can get the link from there, or I send it to you all through email. But be sure to ask any questions you have and we'll share them in the comments. But we're gonna let I'm sorry, Rose, Stephanie talk to us about her literary agents and her books as well. Hi, Stephanie. Take over.
Hi, thank you. I'm so sorry you won't be able to see the slideshow, but I am Stephanie Cardell. I have a literary agency. Um, I am a writer myself. I write picture books, middle grade, and young adult. I started out, I think I got my agent about 5 years ago. And then I started interning a couple years into submitting and became an agent and was an agent for a couple of years before I decided to open my own literary agency. Right now, I have 16 clients. So I have close to submissions because it's hard to keep up with all the queries coming in. I think Jen talked about that earlier about how she is just overloaded with queries. It's hard to get anything done. It's hard to get to the queries. So my focus is my clients. Occasionally I get some time for my own writing. But the Lord has just blessed me immensely. And my live by verse, which I have on my website, lighthouseliterary.com, is Matthew 5:16. Let your light shine before others that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. And I feel like as writers, that's the best thing that we can do as Christian writers is to make sure that our light shines in our work. Um, so, the first thing I wanted to talk about, instead of talking about writing specifically, as the other presenters have done, I wanted to talk about queries and common writing mistakes I see in the submissions that I get. So, as far as queries, you want to always look at the agent's individual guidelines. For myself, I have those on the website when I'm open to queries. And but even if they don't have anything and you're not sure what their guidelines are, always include genre, title, word count. Um, Sometimes I can get to the end of a query and I'm like, what is this? Who is the audience for this? Is this a children's book? Is this adult? People forget to put that in. They're so busy telling me the title and talking about themselves and why they decided to write this book. And it's like, that's not what your query is for. When you get that phone call from the agent, that's when you can talk about why you wrote this book. But the agent is getting inundated with queries and doesn't have time to read all that. She wants to know, or he wants to know, word count, genre, and um, and the title as well. Um, and so, in that first part of your query, it's good to have all that, and then also a good hook. Now, a hook is X meets Y is a good hook. So, like Red Riding Hood meets Cinderella, or A Wrinkle in Time meets The 100. So you can pull from movies, you can pull from classic books, you can pull from TV shows. But if you have an X meets Y, it's easy for them to mash that up and think, oh, that's a cool concept. And so then they are naturally going to want to read on. So, or you could do like short, engaging sentences that really build up suspense, like a dead teen, $100,000 in a briefcase, a missing boyfriend. Just leave it at that. So, something that's suspenseful. That's a good hook as well. That gets them to keep reading. And then you want to put a short summary, and that's your pitch. And a good formula for your pitch is when blank happens or after blank happens, then the main character must decide or choose or do something, or something horrible is going to happen if they don't do this thing. So build on that where you have descriptors like when whatever happens, then say 12-year-old Susie, who loves orchestra, just making this up off the top of my head, but it gives them more information about Susie, and then they understand why whatever happens is going to be catastrophic for her. So that's a good thing to have in your pitch. Make sure you have your main character's goal, the conflict as far as why the main character can't achieve their goal, and what the stakes are. What's going to happen if your main character can't achieve their goal? So those are the important things you want to have in your pitch. But you also then want to add some interesting details that are going to show the agent what is unique about your particular story that's going to make it stand out in a crowd, because that's the biggest trouble, especially if you write for children. It is a crowded field, and that is the hardest thing to do, is to stand out. And editors, I get this response from editors so often, that they like the story, they like the writing, but they just don't feel like this story can stand out at this time. And so, and the timing may be bad for your story, but if there are so many publishers out there now, you got to keep trying, and you got to find that one editor, and that's hard to do. So and especially if you have to have an agent to submit. Of course, there's so many publishing houses like Monarch that are gracious enough to allow you to submit without an agent, and that's wonderful, and I recommend that. But it is something you don't want the editor or the agent to say, is that this is not unique enough, or this reminds me of so many other books that are already out there. You don't want them to say that. So you want to have, so just to review, in your query, you want to have dear agent name, right? You don't want to say dear agent. You don't want to say, a lot of people do that. You'd be surprised. I see you just laughing over there, but you'd be surprised how many people do that. So research the person, know the person. And if you want to open with something like, hey, I watched that interview you did on that Monarch, conference, that helps you connect. So they know that you did your research and you know who they are and what they're looking for. Then in the first paragraph, put that genre, title, word count, and your hook. In your second paragraph, have your pitch and your unique details. In your third paragraph, that's when you can tell a little bit about yourself, but the main thing that they want to know is if you have anything else published, any relevant writing experience, and your platform. Unfortunately, platform is a big deal, especially for Christian publishers. It's very frustrating. A lot of the rejections that we get from Christian editors say that. They say, well, we just can't take this on because this author does not have a big enough platform. And that's really depressing, especially when they love the story, but they don't think they can sell it without that author having that platform. So if you have a platform, if you don't have a platform yet, it's good to start building one. And the previous author that spoke, Rose, she was talking about how great it is to become an expert in something and get out there and join groups and go and speak. And so people get to know you and then they'll follow you just so they can learn more about whatever that topic is. And so find a topic that's relevant to your readers, and that's how you grow your platform. And then, sign your name, but also put your contact information after your name. Sometimes people forget to do that, and it's good to have your email address again, even though in the email, even though it's, they're going to reply to it. All right. So any questions about queries, put them in the comments and you can.
I got plenty of them, but let's see. Here's one. Nick said, what's the cost of an agent? And this is probably someone that never, like a lot of new writers wouldn't know anything about an agent.
Agents are not supposed to charge. It's against the code of ethics for agents to charge you anything. In fact, they've just recently changed it so that you can, as long as agents make it clear that their editing services are separate from agenting, and if they edit something for you and charge for that service, it's not going to mean that they're going to represent you. As long as you make it clear, they've just allowed agents to start having editing services on the side. But you used to not even be able to do that. It was against the code of ethics. So they should not charge you anything. You send a query, and if they like your writing, they'll request your full, they'll read your full, and if they feel like they can sell it, basically, not if they like it. I mean, I like a lot of the things that I read, but if I don't think I can sell it, I can't take it on. And so then they'll set up a call with you and y'all will discuss if you're a good fit for each other. And then they'll send you a contract, and then they'll work with you to prepare your manuscript for submission to editors. And then they will start submitting for you to publishing houses. That's how an agent works.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that process of it. I forgot what question. Let me go at. Nick said, so what's the difference in sending your story to an agent versus the publisher? I know you answered that maybe in so many words.
Large publishing houses do not allow people to send to them directly. Smaller houses like Monarch are able to do that, and they do allow you to send without an agent. So if you are in a position to do that, you should, because if you don't have an agent is going to take 15% of what you make. So that's what they charge is after they sell your book. they get 15%. And another thing most people don't realize, which I didn't know, and I think is kind of backwards, but the publishing house pays the agent, and then the agent pays the writer. So at the end of the year, the publishing house is going to send the agent a 1099, and the agent is going to send the writer a 1099. So that's how that works too. So all the money goes through the agent. So that's another service that they provide. But yeah, if you don't have an agent, you have to search out those publishing houses. There, a lot of the small publishing houses aren't as good as Monarch is as far as getting marketing out there, and so it's a lot harder to sell your book. I have a client who has a book with a small press that has only sold about 250 copies, and it's been out there for 9 months, and we don't know if he'll even sell anymore. So it's frustrating when you go with a small press who doesn't do any marketing. So that's the advantage of having an agent, is they are able to submit to the large houses. And as an agent, that's what I do. I submit to the largest houses I can first, and then I work my way down the list.
So there different genres, agents representing different genres, or they just cover all genres? Like if I'm writing cozy mysteries, should I look for a specific agent in cozy
Yeah.
mysteries?
Yes, because agents build up relationships with editors, and so they know exactly who would love that, your book. So definitely research your agent and find out that you're going to submit to, and find out what they represent. I used to only represent children's authors, picture books, middle grade, and young adult. But this year, when I started my new agency, I opened up to adult. So now I represent nonfiction Christian and Christian fiction, and regular adult fiction. I've got a legal thriller on submission. I've got a mystery, suspense, not really a cozy mystery. It's more of a thriller. So I really like mysteries, but some agents don't. So you make sure that they like what you have written before you want to send to them. And here I've run out of time, and I had all this stuff I wanted to tell you about writing, writing mistakes that I see, but I guess I'll have to save that for next time.
Oh, yes, please do, because I have so many more questions, and there's some more in the audience. I do apologize for the tech glitch, but we do appreciate your time, and we appreciate you being here. And yeah, you have a valuable information because there's so many questions. But thank you so much, Stephanie, for joining us. And we will just have to schedule you again on another podcast or something. And
That
so
would be
you can just
wonderful.
really talk. So thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. I do apologize for our technical glitch. Be sure to head over to Jen's channel now so we can go into the next program. Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay.